hear me? Okay. So hello, I'm Johann. I'm a data scientist at Idorsia in biometry. And the talk is about SAS, adding SAS to Quarto. And the goal of the presentation is to give you another reason for the SAS user to use R, basically. And if you are in the pharma industry, the trend is to transition from SAS to R. So the idea is that could help you along the way. So first here, who is has ever run some SAS code or learned some SAS code at school once in his life? Okay, a majority of it, so it's good. Who has still a license of SAS now? Not so much, but still, okay. You are not using it so much, but yeah, I guess so, I see. And so basically, we're gonna see what is Quarto, why adding SAS to Quarto, how to know about your SAS environment, what are the Python requirements, and how to connecting to SAS. And then finally, we would explore how to exchange data from SAS to R and Python to R in both directions. So first, what is Quarto? I was thinking that it was obvious for everyone what is Quarto, but I realized that people was asking what is Quarto. In a nutshell, it is super simple. This is R Markdown, but in better. Exactly the same, but in better. No, but seriously, it's this is a website of Quarto. You have a lot of documentations, a lot of examples. It's really well done. You can copy paste the code. You have a lot of features already ready. So basically, you get the possibility to have a code that generates a different type of output just by the metadata. And Quarto, because there's 4 languages here, Python, R, Julia, and okay, observable is JavaScript, but they call it observable. And yeah, so Quarto. So how it's working? This is a workflow. You have before the extension was .r markdown. Now it's .qmd. And the things that you file, then go to the Knitter engine, then get process, and then you get the output of reports, presentations. It could be website, PDF documents, Word. And the nice thing is that you can also take another engine with the same Quarto documents. Then you got Jupyter, and then you can run Python. Or you can run Python through Knitter and with a reticulate package. This is the solutions we're going to see here. Why? Because if you want to share the same object in the environment, you need to, if you have a different engine, you cannot share between Python and R. But if you are in with R, the R engine, with reticulate, you can share Python and R objects. So, because at first I tried with Jupyter. So why adding SAS to Quarto? It's really nice to have combined together the code, the outputs analysis, and maybe the conclusions about the result of the analysis. And it could be a good help for people for training purposes. If you want to, you have a code of R or SAS, and you see what is the result. And also for maybe for QC validations, if you have someone who needs to QC something, you have a track, and it's easier to. You have only one document, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is an example of a SAS demo output for that is done in Quarto, just to show that it's a bit the same output that you could see in the SAS Studio. So how to know about your SAS environment? There's a proc IOM operate. You just change the URL of your SAS studios, and you get some informations in the log. And in the log, you need to check for two informations. One is the host, what is the URL of your RStudio server, and the other one is the class ID of your SAS workspace server. In terms of Python requirements, we only need two modules of Pythons. We need pandas for data manipulations, and it's relying on that. And we need a SAS Py that has been developed by a SAS software company. And you got all the documentation there. You can, yeah. So you have also some limitations, but everything's there. In terms of connecting to SAS, there's a package that has been shared. So you can go to the Basel R GitHub, and then you can look at the README of the package, and you have some helping functions to install the module of Python, and then to generate some config file of Python to be able to connect to your SAS Studio. And you can connect it from your RStudio local, from your local machine, or from a Workbench in POSIT, for example. This works in both. Slightly a bit different. So now in the chunk of the Quarto documents, to set up the engine, you need to load the library, and then there's a function to register the SAS engine. And then you can store the object, the engine, into an object that we call here SAS. And based on that, we can share, we can use this object to share and to retrieve data from SAS and exchange data that you can see just there. So to get from SAS to R and R to SAS, there's a SAS $get functions and SAS $2 functions. And basically you can say, okay, I want to get the ADSL table from the work libname, or you want, and you store it into the R. And it has to be in the R chunk because the object SAS it's in the R chunk. And then to send some data set to the SAS workspace, you have a SAS2. You say which data frame R you want, what the table of what will be the table and what libname. And then you can check in the SAS chunk what is if you see the table or not. Now for Python, so for the ones who don't have any SAS available, they're lucky maybe, you can still use Python in Quarto, and here's a way to exchange your data from Python and with Python and R. So basically when you are in a Python chunk, all the R environment are available through the R dot object. So you can say R dot my data from R. And when you are in the R chunk, you can retrieve the Python environment through the reticulate package. So reticulate dot dot pi $, and then you can retrieve the data from Python. Last but not least, this is a way to configure the SAS chunk. So you can say basically you get the SAS chunk, and below you have two tables. One is for the LST, and one is for the log. So you can switch between both, and maybe you want only to get the log, maybe you want the LST only, or maybe you want to hide everything. By default, it's showing everything, but here's a way in Quarto to specify your chunk options. So I would like to thank Harvey, Brian, and John. John, that is just up here. He will talk later this afternoon. A special thank for John because he was guiding me to create this Knit engine and debugging, and yeah, this is always really awesome. And yeah, 1 year ago, Harvey did 2 posts on the SAS in Quarto. I was trying to implement it, and then it was under the information 6 months ago. So, and it was helping me to get more details and to implement in my company. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions.
So I think we have time for one question. Do we have a question from the audience? Yeah.
It's quite specific. Is the connection between those software tools, is that platform dependent? Does it work Windows, Unix, Linux? No, that exactly.
Yeah, it's only Windows and Unix, because Workbench is on Unix or Linux. And but to go to macOS, I don't have any macOS laptop, but I know that the SAS Pi does have some. I think they have some implementations, some port for the macOS things. But I just keep it because yeah, I know way to test it. But I think it's still possible. But yeah, to check. But it's on the. You need to check on the SAS Pi module, yeah, from Python. That's
cool. So thank you. So I guess in the interest of time, we'll move to our next speaker. So thank you again.